Hello and welcome to episode 4 of Blockbuster Rejects. Happy New Year to you all. This is our first episode for 2019. How's that? How was your New Year's? I'm glad it's over, personally. I didn't have that great of a New Year's. I was designated driver, so that basically sums up how my New Year's was. I'm kind of glad the holidays are over. But we're not here to talk about holidays, we're here to talk about a movie. And this week's movie is a movie from 2008 entitled Shark Swarm. So, before we just start it, let's roll that trailer.
Thanks once again to Hamilton Lux and the future of Full Moon Bay.
Everyone who signs on to the project, they stand to gain.
This man is waving dollar bills in front of your faces. He doesn't care about our future.
You're gonna have a major war on your hands.
This is a fragile planet, and our actions can have grave consequences.
And why is it that the fishing has dried up since you got here?
He's feeding that toxic sludge directly into the sea.
Herbicides, pesticides, bacterial pollutants.
And then finding out we've been pumping and dumping in this damn bay all the time.
What about your plan?
Hey, I killed the fishing industry around here, didn't I? Plan's a success.
We have no idea how these chemicals are going to be affecting an animal's behavior.
We're getting some strange reports from the beaches.
In the last few months, we've seen aggressive and violent behavior in all species of shark.
They're moving together with hive mentality.
You have an ocean full of monsters out there.
There's going to be a massacre.
Oh, what the hell is that?
Lord help us.
Shark Swarm from 2008. Now, if you remember last week, I noted that this movie goes for 2 hours and 47 minutes. So I'm happy to say that I did it. I got through it, I sat down, and I watched it as much as I could. I'm lying, I'm sorry. I did watch it. That is the truth. But was my mind completely focused on the movie 100%? No, I can't honestly say that. But before we go into it more, let's go through the plot. So, and this is coming from the back of the DVD. In a Californian coastal town, fisherman Daniel Wilder and marine biologist Amy Zuckerman discover the terrifying side effects of man's attack on the environment. The environment is attacking back. After several locals are eaten alive by great white sharks, Daniel and Amy discover the man-eaters are now travelling in unstoppable underwater swarms with a terrifying single-minded purpose. Now, they must venture into the deep to stop the shark swarm. Now, if you are going off that description alone, this movie sucks. But, okay, and I kind of basically knew what I was getting myself into. I mean, it's a shark film I haven't really heard of. The cover, the cover looks cool, I'll give it that, but you can tell that most of their budget would have been spent on the cover. So I put it in anyway because I have to, and I said that I would, and I did, thinking that I was going to get a below average grade movie, kind of in the same realms as a Sharknado type thing. And actually, I'm not going to sit here and say it was Jaws quality, because we all know that that's not true. And it's not even The Shallow's quality. But this was not as bad as I gave it credit for. Now, let me put it into a scale for you. Let's go in the pyramid scale of shark films. So at the top of the peak, the very top, we have Jaws, standing alone. Nothing compares to Jaws. This isn't even in my personal opinion. I think we can all agree that Jaws is the greatest shark movie to ever stand. Below that, just below that, there are two films, in my opinion, that can hold their own, which are The Shallows and 47 Meters Down. I think those two films are just below Jaws. They're great shark films, but still they don't compete with the Big Daddy. Underneath that, we go to the next scale down, which is decent shark films that I can see people getting into, but it's mainly just a one-watch type of thing. You have movies like The Reef, Deep Blue Sea, films like that. Then underneath you get to the sillier type of films, or the ones that aren't holding up as great, but they're still worth a watch. Movies like Bite and Shark Night 3D, things like that. But down the bottom you get the shit. And I say this with all respect because I know there are people out there who genuinely like the Sharknado films. I'm just not one of them. But I think we can all agree that they're at the bottom of this pyramid. The Sharknados, the mega shark versus piranha shark, or whatever you want to call it, the sharktopuses and all those, you know what I'm getting at, all those ridiculous movies. Now, if I'm to put this movie here, Shark Swarm, in that scale, I'm probably going to put it not at the bottom. I think it's better than a Sharknado. I'm going to put it just the one above. It sits in there with... it sits in there probably just a bit below Shark Night 3D type of film. So this isn't great. I'm not lying. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or anything like that. This isn't a great film. But it's not as bad as I originally thought. Now, the film starts with something that shocked me. Not shocked. Shocked's a strong word. But who here has seen the movie Finding Nemo? I'm sure most of you people have, and even if you haven't, I'm sure you're aware of Finding Nemo. Now, if you remember a character in Finding Nemo named Bruce, taken off Jaws, obviously. Bruce, the character Bruce in Finding Nemo, is a great white shark, and he has two friends, one which is a mako shark, and one which is a hammerhead shark. And these three sharks vow to never eat fish until Bruce smells blood and then goes into a feeding frenzy. So, at the start of Shark Swarm, you have three sharks swimming together. A great white, a mako shark, and a hammerhead shark. I'm not shitting you when I say this next part, but the look of the great white shark is as if they took Finding Nemo and made a live action version of it. I am not kidding. The shark looked exactly like Bruce from Finding Nemo. It's got the big bottom jaw and the weird pointy nose. It was strange. But then it gets even stranger because a little bit of blood is scented in the water and this great white shark goes into a feeding frenzy. Spoilers here, but he manages to kill the other two sharks he's with. Now, this was taken straight out of Finding Nemo. I don't care what anyone says. Straight out of Finding Nemo. As for the rest of the movie, the shark attacks, look, you don't see much. You see a whole bunch of choppy edits and a bit of blood in the water, and that's basically it. The shark effects, and this is what everyone goes into a shark movie for, or wants to hear, are the shark effects any good? No. Look, there were some scenes in this movie that you could tell straight out that, and they lingered on it for long periods of time, that this was a toy. The shark was a toy. And then you had other scenes where it was completely CGI. I'm talking Sharknado type CGI. So the shark effects weren't that great. Actually, I'm not going to lie, that was shit. Straight out shit. The acting wasn't great. Look, this stars Daryl Hannah. It stars Armand Asante and John Schneider. Now, these three names you probably don't know just by hearing them, but they've been in stuff. I mean, Daryl Hannah, you may know her name. She's been in Kill Bill. She was in Blade Runner and The Little Rascals. And that other dude, that I can't pronounce his name, Armand Asante, he's been in his fair share of stuff, and if you saw his face, you know exactly who he is. But the acting in this wasn't good, man. Look, it's not the worst I've seen. It's not Friday the 13th quality acting, but it's not great. I'm going to say that right now. Look, all in all, this movie went for 2 hours and 47 minutes. It's a TV movie. Much in the same vein as the original It's broken up into two parts. So that was a bit of a relief when I found that out. I could actually stop, take a break, and come back to it another day, which I did. And I think that helped a lot because, yeah, 2 hours and 47 minutes of a movie is too much, especially when the movie's not great. But all in all, would I recommend this movie? Probably not. If I'm going to be completely honest, and hey, I'm a shark guy. Shark horrors are my thing. So me not recommending this movie is kind of a big deal. If I'm going to give it a rating out of 10, I'd give it a 4 out of 10. Look, it's not the worst thing I've seen. I mean, it's not The Last Shark, but it's nowhere near Jaws level. And I don't ever have to watch it ever again. The good thing about the movie is there was an attack scene every 15 minutes, so that was a plus. Problem is you don't see anything. It's not like Samuel Jackson in Deep Blue Sea kills. So yeah, Shark Swarm, I'd say give it a miss. I'm sure you probably never even heard of it, and if you have, you probably were smart enough not to give it a go, unlike me. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. So that's Shark Swarm from 2008. Now, for next week, I'm going to watch a movie that has been on my shelf for a long time, and I've been wanting to watch it because the cover looks interesting. It looks decent, but at the same time, it looks horrible. This movie is called Under the Bed. Now, I'm just looking at the DVD here, and I'm trying to find a date on it. 2012. There you go. It doesn't say it stars anyone yet, but it says from the producers of VHS. I haven't seen or heard much about this movie at all, but hey, that's my next project, Under the Bed from 2012. So hopefully this is better than Shark Swarm. But yeah, you'll have to wait till next week to hear about that. Well, that's it for this week. Horror for Dummies is taking a little break. We'll be back probably in the middle of January, something like that. Just need time to unwind and get a grip of 2019 as it is. But we'll be back soon. Until then, this little sideshow will be sticking around every week. It's easy to do this one, so I don't have a problem doing it. But yeah, we'll be back next week with Under the Bed. So until then, I am Tim, coming to you from Horror for Dummies Studios, and we'll catch you next week.
Daddy shark, do-do-do-do-do, Daddy shark, do-do-do-do-do, Daddy shark.
Grandma shark, do-do-do-do-do, Grandma shark, do-do-do-do-do, Grandma shark, do-do-do-do-do, Grandma shark.
Grandpa shark, do-do-do-do-do, Grandpa shark, do-do-do-do-do, Grandpa shark, do-do-do-do-do, Grandpa shark. Let's go hunt, do-do-do-do-do, let's go hunt, do-do-do-do-do, let's go hunt, do-do-do-do-do, let's go hunt.
Run away, do-do-do-do-do, run away, do-do-do-do-do, run away, do-do-do-do-do, run away. Safe at last, do-do-do-do-do, safe at last, do-do-do-do-do, safe at last, do-do-do-do-do, safe